It is Tuesday, which means it is Let's Talk Tuesday. I am BrendenPlayz. Apologies for missing last week. I just didn't have the time to get into doing it. So we're going to kind of make up for that, and we're going to cover a few questions that I wanted to cover in the last episode, as well as some fresh questions about things that are going to be happening. Of course, Money in the Bank coming up really soon. So let's get straight into the questions, shall we? So over on my forum, CM Punk. Well, is it the real CM Punk? I don't think so. Just have a little gut feeling. But CM Punk, he wants to know who is going to win the Money in the Bank match, and who do you want to win? Well, it's tough because we just got news on who exactly will be in that match. I feel as though Seth Rollins is the heavy favorite, but is he too obvious? Is he too obviously going to be the winner? I mean, you know, all the attention around the match is surrounding him. So you'd have to kind of get the feeling that he's not going to win it. Just because of that, you know, they're not going to make it that obvious, are they? I think Bad News Barrett is going to win it. I think Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are going to battle it out. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, you know, one of the two will get so close, then they'll just take each other out, and Bad News Barrett will swoop in while everyone else is down and take the titles and take the briefcase and sneak away with it. I think he'll hold it for quite some time because the SummerSlam period is going to be chock-a-block full of some big-time matches, and I don't think Wade Barrett is quite on that caliber yet. So I think Bad News Barrett should probably wait until maybe the end of the year, if ever, to cash in. You know, I personally am not Barrett's biggest fan, but I do like the gimmick that he's got now. Is it main event material? I don't know. I probably would say no, but hey, you know, I think he's waited long enough. He's got the potential, so give him a chance. So Bad News Barrett for me to win the Money in the Bank match. Epic Pokemon rap battles. He wants to know, who should the Usos lose their titles to? I think it's time. They haven't been doing jack shit. I agree with that. Their title reign has been really poor, piss poor, and it's not their fault. I think the Usos are a great tag team. They deserve to have the titles, but it's simply a fact that the WWE, they have done terrible booking with these two guys. In fact, I don't even think they've had a pay-per-view title defense since Extreme. I didn't even think Extreme. I think WrestleMania, and I think wasn't it WrestleMania where they defended the titles on the pre-show or something? I don't know, something stupid like that. So their title reign has been pathetic because they haven't been given an opportunity. They were inserted in the whole John Cena Wyatt feud where the focus was certainly not around them. So their title reign has sucked. It is time for them to drop the belts, and it's pretty clear to me that at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that the Wyatt family are going to beat them, and I hope the Wyatt family beat them because it's a good time for the Wyatts. I don't know about the Wyatts getting this whole new theme song or whatever. That's for another video, but it seems as though they're kind of separating these two guys away from Bray Wyatt a little bit, and letting them go their separate ways in terms of championship belts, and you know, they're moving away from the six-man tag team matches and moving away to tag teams and singles matches. So I think the Wyatt family should win and go on and hold those titles for a long time, because the tag team division right now sucks, and there's really no one else other than the Usos to take on the Wyatts, really. So I don't know what they're going to do with the belts, but the Wyatts are going to win at Money in the Bank. That's my prediction. Alex HDX1. Is there a future still in the WWE for Zack Ryder? Sorry, Zack Ryder fans. No, Zack Ryder's done. He's never going to get pushed again. And as far as I see it, he's just going to be a job guy until his contract runs out, and then they'll just release it. JND Gamer wants to know, do you think it's a possibility that the title will split at the Money in the Bank? A lot of people have been suggesting that there will be a title split. They also suggested this back in TLC when it was going to occur, that someone will grab one belt whilst they're on the ladder and the other person will grab the other one. Look, I hope not, because I think the one championship belt is what is needed right now. A lot of people say, look, bring back the second belt, blah, 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 blah. No. You know, I'm a firm believer in keeping the one belt unless there is a fully recognized brand split. There's no reason to have two championship belts if they're all going to be defended on the same show. If you know, it was just stupid having the world champion open the show on Raw and then the WWE champion main event the show. There was never really any emphasis on the World Championship belt being, main event material until John Cena decided he wanted to, unify it with Randy Orton and whatever. The world title belt is a mid-card belt. It's sad to say that because I really felt as though the world title belt was awesome, especially, when it was on Raw and then it moved over to SmackDown. I thought the belt was really getting a lot of steam and the brand split was great, but ever since then, ever since probably Edge retired, the world title belt has been absolutely useless. It's a great decision that they've decided to unify the belt and keep it unified for some time until they do decide to split up the brands again and go that route once again. I think they will do that, but in a few years' time. Keep the belts unified. They've got the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. They're not going to have a 6-month reign with the main belt, so it's going to last longer than that. So at Money in the Bank, whoever wins the match, probably John Cena, so it seems, will grab both championship belts. CM Punk asks another question: do you prefer NXT, Raw, or TNA? I guess we all know what CM Punk is doing in his time off. He's lurking the BrendenPlayz forums. But in all seriousness, obviously Raw. I don't watch NXT I don't watch TNA. I don't watch NXT simply because I just kind of prefer watching them on the main stage. I will watch the odd clip here and there, or the odd match that is good. Obviously, I watched the Sami Zayn Cesaro match, and then I watched the Natalya Charlotte match. So if I see or hear something good that's happened on NXT, I'll check it out. And likewise with TNA, I don't watch TNA anymore. I should try get back into it. I was watching it on a weekly basis, but the show, it sucks. And, Eric Young being the champion was just, God, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I do like Bobby Lashley, and him being the champion now is a good move in my opinion. So I may check out TNA, maybe, probably not. I don't know. I think TNA is just done. I'm just waiting for it to die, to be honest with you. So out of all those three, it's got to be Raw. These two questions were obviously the big questions coming out of last week, which I did miss, but we'll cover it anyways. So Ralphie, he wants to know, and also Cobhead Jake wants to know, how do you feel about the 10 superstars being released? And out of the recent WWE superstars that have been released, which ones do you feel as though could end up making a comeback to the company one day? How do I feel about them being released? I think it's a good decision. The one person I was probably I questioned a little bit was Oksana, simply because I felt as though she had a place in the WWE. I felt as though she still had a bit of a role and had an opportunity to make something of herself in the company. The other guys like Kurt Hawkins, JTG, Brodus Clay, and the 3MB guys, they have been jobbed out to the shit. They are done and practically haven't been on TV in forever. One guy I felt as though who should have joined them in the release line was Justin Gabriel. He's in the same boat, hasn't been on TV in such a long time. Nobody cares about him. He's done. So I would have liked to see him probably go too, as bad as that kind of sounds. But Evan Bourne, I felt as though probably should have stuck around. I felt, they hung on to him for this long, waiting for his return, only to release him. Bit of a waste of time, bit of waste of money, really. Like, what's the point of that? Drew McIntyre, everyone had high hopes on. I still think Drew McIntyre could have been a good, Intercontinental Champion like he has been before. I felt he could have been a good mid-card player. I don't think he's main event material. I think out of the guys that were released, I think Drew McIntyre has the most potential of going on to do something good on the indies. I think if I was TNA, I'd be signing Drew McIntyre up. And to be honest, I'd probably be pushing him because I feel as though he's got a lot of potential. And I felt that he was certainly underutilized in the WWE. He tried, they really pushed him heavily. His gimmick failed. He failed. He couldn't really get over well enough to really make anything good of himself. So it's understandable. Jinder Mahal, he sucks. He's never been good. And they tried pushing him as the Indian guy or whatever. It just failed miserably. Who else am I forgetting? They fired a referee as well. That's fair enough. Teddy Long, they got rid of him. I think apparently he just was retiring anyways, which is fair enough. Teddy Long has done absolutely everything he could possibly do on SmackDown. He made every single tag team match that you could possibly think of. He made everybody go one-on-one with The Undertaker 1,000 times. So it was pretty much, you know, beating a dead horse with Teddy Long. You know, been GM for SmackDown for years and years and years, which I thought he was a great GM. I think Teddy Long was, you think of SmackDown, you kind of think of Teddy Long, you know, has such a rich history with SmackDown and really made SmackDown great. And I remember when I started watching SmackDown, you know, Teddy Long was, you know, he was a GM, I believe, and he was doing his thing, which was great. So I feel as though Teddy Long is sad to see him go, but obviously, you know, he's getting old now. He's done everything he can possibly do, and he had a good run. He had a great career, and obviously now you can add Vicky Guerrero onto this list of being not released. Well, I guess maybe released, but you know, Vicky Guerrero retiring as well, which I think is disappointing to see her go as well. But obviously she's done everything that she can possibly do again. It's a similar situation with Teddy Long. How much more can you do with Vicky Guerrero? How much more can you, you know, milk the whole Eddie thing? And, you know, Vicky Guerrero has been in a lot of storylines, and she's been a manager with many people, and she's had a lot of success. She gets great heat, but obviously the heat that she was getting has died down. Her character on TV has been played out. It was just a good time for her to go, and she went out in a great way, which I think was great to see. That, you know, the fans really cheered her off, which was nice to see as well. So my thoughts and opinions on everyone going, these superstars been released, good riddance, get rid of them. The only problem is now that all these other guys are going to have to step in and fill in this job or role. Guys like Titus O'Neil, who we all probably think could go on to do big and, you know, bigger and better things than what he's currently doing, they're going to be stuck playing the job or role. You know, going back to the Zack Ryder question, what's he going to be doing now? He's just going to be filling in the babyface jobber role. You know, for guys like Rusev, he's going to be doing that on a weekly basis because they've gotten rid of, you know, the Brodus Clays and, you know, these other guys that used to fill in this role. You know, 3MB, who's going to replace those guys as being, you know, the patented kick my ass role? So some guys are going to have to fill in those boots, and you're going to see guys like Damien Sandow, maybe Dolph Ziggler, that the WWE just doesn't like. They're going to have to fill those boots, and someone's going to have to be losing these matches. Not everyone can get pushed, which means someone's got to lose, and someone is going to have to be a designated jobber. So who exactly that's going to be? I think guys like Xavier Woods and people like that should be filling those roles, because those, you know, they're done. You know, R-Truth as well. So I don't know. I'm happy to see a lot of those guys goes. Obviously, you know, it's not great to see people lose their jobs or whatever, but in terms of a WWE fan, don't care about any of them really. I thought Oksana, like I said, but, you know, only because I felt as though she was a good jobber for the Divas division, which they do need. And today's final question comes from Denarius Pinnell. Brendan, do you think Christian will come back? Yes, I do, but for how long? Not long, because Christian is injury prone. He's got this big concussion problem happening right now. There's rumors that he's going to retire because of these injuries, which is fair enough. Christian's had a great career. Probably would say Hall of Fame worthy. You know, I felt as though he could have been much bigger than what he was. You know, I felt as though his TNA run really kind of made him shine. You know, he really proved to everyone that he could be a top-level guy in a company, even if it was TNA. So I think Christian's had a good run, but, you know, if he comes back, he's only going to be, you know, doing the RVD or the Chris Jericho role and just losing to everybody. So maybe he'll come back at Money in the Bank or something sometime soon. I don't think he's too far away from returning. So how long he'll return for, I don't know. He's getting on the Rey Mysterio status of just being injured more than he is healthy. So in my opinion, guys like Mysterio, guys like Christian, it's time for them to hang up their boots and call it a day, because, you know, sooner or later they won't be able to walk, or they won't be able to think right because their knees or their brain, for Christian's sake, are going to be no good. So Christian, he'll return, but expect it to be his last run. So that'll do it for this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. Once again, I apologize for not doing a video last week. We are back on schedule now, so expect daily uploads from me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below, and leave your questions for next week's episode so I can answer them for you. As well as that, go and leave them over at the forums, BrendenPlayz.com/forums. Leave your questions over there for me. Sign up to the forums today. It would really make me very, very happy. It would bring a huge smile to my face if you went over and signed up right now. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And as well as that, Have a great day for me, and I will see you all next Tuesday.